Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Rowetta is the big voice from the Happy Mondays, which are back on tour this summer and autumn, doing festivals and then a big theatre tour later in the year. They've got the Greatest Hits tour, which is fantastic, back on the road with the boys. And I'm delighted to say Rowetta joins us on the phone now from Manchester. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Do you know, I'm not bad for my age, but I always think that I'm sort of inferior to someone like you. You're gifted with that incredible voice, the personality, the look. You've had a really incredible career, haven't you?
It's been brilliant, actually, and I think the Happy Mondays are doing well for their ages as well, because we're pretty old now. But no, I've had this great career, and this year's been especially brilliant for me. I've been doing Hacienda Classical, so reliving my youth a little bit, and also doing house tunes and doing well with those, and recording and writing a lot. So I've just been really busy, travelling a lot, getting very tired, but loving every second.
And what's amazing is you were part of that sort of music blend of Manchester that became iconic and is so much loved today.
Yeah, very much lucky, because I'd never wanted to be a singer. I didn't know that I was going to get involved with it. And then I left my husband and went into a women's aid refuge, started working in town behind a bar for a few weeks. Just was singing along and somebody heard me, did a tune with this group called Vanilla Soundcore. It got signed by Dave Rove, who ended up managing Sub and Doves. And just got myself heard as a house tune vocalist, really. And then I discovered I wanted to sing with Happy Mondays. And it was really, they hadn't made it massively at the time. They're more of a cult band. And I just wanted to sing with them, and I thought it'd be great for them. I thought I'd do what Gloria did for T-Rex. I thought it'd be a bit like that. And it worked really, really well. It was brilliant timing, but I had no idea that this Manchester thing was going to be massive. Yes, it was.
You mentioned there about your private life, and this is something I want to talk to you about today. You've been such an ambassador for women sticking up for themselves, being brave enough to walk away, because I know at times it was unbearable for you. And I mean, abuse doesn't even begin to describe what you went through. The bravery that you've shown is quite remarkable.
Yeah, probably because I had two little children as well, so I didn't really have a choice. I didn't feel, because it's easy sometimes to say, oh, I'm going to stay because of the kids. For some of these women, I don't get it. You've got to leave because of the children, and you've got to get yourself together and pick yourself up if you can because of the children, and that's what kept me going. And I went into a women's aid refuge with two little children, and just didn't think about the future. I had absolutely nothing, but it just got so bad after 5 years of it. You know, I was a kid when I met the guy, and after 5 years of it, I couldn't take any more. I had no life. And I'm, I'm very, very proud of what I've done, and I do like to help others now and tell them, look at me now and look at what I'm doing. It's brilliant. My children are in the 30s now. They've done very, very well. Never been in trouble with anybody, just been to university and got degrees and stuff and got great jobs. So, it's doable. It's very, very difficult, but I do like to help other women if possible. Can't help everybody, though, and I do get a lot of emails from loads and tweets and stuff that are like wanting help. I'm not. It's not my job to do that. I just like to guide them in the right direction and support other women. And men, actually. And there's men that happens to as well.
You've got that beautiful thing where you're relatable and people think they know you and they like you. That's a great gift in itself. And I think it's because of your life experience that they trust you. Let's just go back to that time. The question I always ask women like yourself is, why did you put up with it for so long? Because as I stand back and look at what you endured, it was the most disgusting behaviour. It was criminal, yet you still put up with it.
What it is I don't have a big family, so I did leave plenty of times. I only had my mum really to go to, and he used to attack my mum. And he's admitted a lot of it. He admitted it in the past in the papers and stuff, and sold his story. So I wouldn't have chosen to tell everybody, to be honest. But I just didn't have a big family. When I went to my aunties, he found me at my aunties. It was just very, very difficult, and without the mobile phones and stuff, and to call for help was really difficult. I couldn't I put a lock on the phone. I couldn't even use my phone. It was just very difficult to get away, and also being frightened of the unknown, being frightened what a women's aid refuge would be like, and moving away from the friends that I had left. To move away from the friends I had left when I've got no other family was really, really difficult. To leave everything behind. When I was only 16 when I met him, and I left him at 21. If I could have got away sooner, I would. But also, you actually think you love the person. You remember the person always says they'll change, or usually says they'll change, and just being trapped. It's very, very difficult with no money and no phone and no anything and no family to get away. And the minute I could get away, the police helped me get away. I was in hospital and they helped me to go to a refuge. Otherwise, I would be in a real mess. As I say, my mum tried to help, but it's very difficult. You know, she was scared too.
Yeah. We hear in the papers about grooming, especially with regards of young boys and girls on the internet. Do you think you were groomed just as a human being from the beginning to think that that was acceptable, and he somehow manipulated you into thinking it was okay?
Absolutely, but I do think it's the way it was brought up, and everybody around us at the time that we went round with, they all thought it was okay, and you know, it's the way they're brought up by the parents. You know, his mother went through similar, so it's what you know. It wasn't what I knew in my life, so I didn't know how to react or what to do. It's not something I went to Berry Grammar. I went to a really posh school. I had quite posh friends. It was really unknown to me. I didn't see a lot of violence in my life. So when it happened to me, I just really didn't know what to do. But it was happening to a lot of my friends, so it was a bit normal within my friends once I'd left school. It was quite normal, but it's just I just couldn't handle it. You know, after a bit I tried, and I just didn't know what to do, to be honest. And it was miserable. And singing never came into it. I sang at the beginning when I met him for money for him, and then it just diminished because I was usually it wasn't well enough. You know, sometimes couldn't even walk. So yeah.
Did he have moments where he was utterly joyous and made you feel like the most special and important person in the world, or was it all negative? Yeah, so it was total manipulation.
This is the problem when it happened afterwards. When they say they're sorry, I mean, he never had any money or anything. He never treated me or anything. So he never did anything. He just told me he loved me and how much he loved me afterwards. But that was it. And you just think, well, what else is there at the time? So yeah, there is. I've always had hope, or I wouldn't have stayed probably. But it is almost like grooming, and almost like I've been just properly under his spell, and I couldn't get out. And I really thought there was no life away from him or with him. I just didn't think. I thought my life was over, and my life just became making sure the children were all right. You know, and it's ended up anyway brilliantly. And I have to say, the Women's Aid Refuge was amazing. And I had to give up everything for it, friends as well. I didn't know anybody and start afresh. But I did at 21, and you know, within a few years, I'd got a new life, and you know, I was really happy, and the happiest I've ever been. Now it's probably, you know, I've just had a great life since leaving, so it can be done.
Yeah, it's so inspirational, and what a story of strength. Just very finally on him. Do you forgive him at this point? How have you managed to have closure to move on and be this amazingly positive person that you are?
Yeah, because I'm sure he's not the same person. That was like 30 years ago, and I don't think about him now. And if I see any reminders of him, I just don't think about him. I went and did a program, Celebrity Rehab, and had therapy for it, and it was amazing. I stayed without the cameras for 2 weeks, and it really did me good, because you don't really get therapy for it in this country for free. And this would have been really expensive therapy, and it was brilliant for me. And I did that in 2008, I think it was. And ever since then, I've been a lot stronger. But I just don't think about him. It's not about forgetting or forgiving or anything like that. I don't need to. My children are fine. I'm fine. I just don't want to see him again. I don't want to speak to him again. He told his story to the papers and told everybody about it. So it's made me have to face up to it. But I don't want to ever face him. I'm not scared of him anymore, which is great. But that's only come within the last few years, to be honest.
That's amazing. And to anybody listening now who hears your story and sees their life within it, what would you suggest? What is the thing to do? Is it to walk away? Is it to go to family or to a refuge centre?
It depends on your life, but you must make a plan to get away, a plan for your future. You must try and plan. Because if you can try and plan... I didn't have a plan. I just ended up in hospital and the police helped me. But that was before, you know, we have social media now. It is easier to speak to people than it ever was. There are websites. If you can get on a computer, some people are stuck and they can't get on a computer. Try and tell somebody if you can. And this endthefear.co.uk, which I've fronted a campaign during the World Cup, and that's a really good one. That has a lot of numbers you can ring, and a lot of... Just make a plan, though, because you can't just walk away. But refuges aren't as bad as you think they're going to be. You know, and if they are, go and find another one. Go and tell them, you know, it's not... I mean, I stayed there for 5 months. I lived in one in Longsight. It's knocked down now. But, you know, and yes, it's not gorgeous. It's not a palace. The people in it, they're not nice. Sometimes you think, oh, God, you know, I'm having trouble getting along with some of the people, and they're having trouble getting along with me because we are all damaged. But it's better than the alternative, staying. You know, and you know, and they help you rehouse you. They help get you jobs if you need to get jobs, stuff like that, and they help reschool your children and things like that. So it's brilliant. There's great alternatives out there for women and men.
And then that moment, can you remember when you first realised you were happy? Once you'd left, once you'd been rehomed, once the kids were settled, do you remember that moment when you thought, I can breathe again, I can be me again, I'm free again and I'm happy again?
Not really, no. Only when I go on stage, probably when I go on stage and things. I didn't, because I was always scared. It's very, very recent when I've stopped being scared. Where I've seen that people have pointed out that he's on Facebook and stuff, and I've seen it because he sold his story a few years ago and stuff. Yeah. I was still scared, so I've not been able to. When I went and did that celebrity rehab, that helped me, and I thought I am happy. But I used to always have this shadow, and where I was really scared. It doesn't help within relationships and things like that when you've got this fear. But now I don't know when it completely clicked, then I'm fine. It's just the fact that I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared of walking around. I don't like people to know where I live in case he finds me. But he wouldn't do anything now anyway. I'm sure he's a lot older, and I'm sure he's not interested in finding me. But I used to really walk around worried about that, and so it harmed me performing and things like that. But now that's all gone. So I'm definitely happy now. But I don't know. There's no magic switch. Now that the children, I think when the children left school and things as well, when you don't have to worry about them finding where they are at school and things, that's all made it easier. But yeah, it's just I'm in a happy place now, as far as that goes. And I know it's not going to stop me within a relationship, which is another thing that it definitely does. Or doing what I want to do and singing and stuff and travelling. I do what I want to do, have the life. I feel very free now, so that's why I feel happy, I think. And I wasn't free until probably the last few years. I didn't feel that freedom.
Is there any way of describing that feeling of standing on a stage with a pin focus, especially in front of a big audience, when you're on form, you're sounding great and you hit that high note? Is that the opposite of everything we've just talked about?
Yeah, it's just the best feeling in the world. But I had that very, very early on because I'd never sung before and I've not had any encouragement from my mum or anything. I had this, I think, I don't know, I always thought it was about 13, but somebody said I was more 11. When I walked on stage, a lady was passing, she was dying of cancer and asked me to go downstairs in her pub and sing on the stage, and I got it then. I got that adrenaline, I got that buzz, and I still get the same buzz now. And I do sing, I've done the Royal Albert Hall recently, 2 years running, sold out audiences, and I closed the show with You've Got the Love. I've done some amazing, I've done Wembley Stadium with the Mondays, done massive, massive shows, but I just remember that very first time, it's the same buzz, standing on a stage in a pub, or standing on stage at Butlins winning a talent competition. It's the same buzz, and I've become addicted to that buzz. It's a fantastic buzz. The minute I walk on stage, I feel at home. I always have. I feel very, very, just very comfortable. I've always felt like when people say jokingly, or some people are serious because they're big fans, but Queen of Manchester, I do in a way feel like I've got this, I do feel quite regal when I walk on stage, and I love it.
Yeah, and you've become iconic. I mean, I think it is the voice and the personality and the character that you bring to the stage, but it is fundamentally that voice. And what a rich, beautiful tone. Are you one of these people that gargles every day with water and you have to not smoke and you can't talk after 10 p.m? Do you get neurotic about it, or is the voice just a gift that's always there?
I'm really the opposite. I'm so naughty. I'm the opposite. I don't warm up. I don't do anything. I used to just have a drink of whiskey and a cigarette, but I have given up smoking 6 years ago to help my voice. And because I just thought, eventually it would catch up. Smoking cigarettes is just shocking. I've never smoked anything else, so I've given up cigarettes, and I found that quite hard to give up because it was a habit. I used to do it with everything, but I don't think I was really addicted to the nicotine, so it wasn't too difficult. But 6 years ago, I stopped that. I still drink occasionally, but to make my voice, probably to warm it up because I'm used to that. But yeah, no, I just don't do any warm-ups. And I mean, with Hacienda Classical, I sing with a gospel choir, and they're like proper, they really take it seriously. And I always think I should take it more seriously. But I try and sleep a lot and have earlier nights. I used to be up all night and then go on stage. Because of the band I was in, really, and the sort of music I sing, you could do like 2 nights up and go on stage still and party. But I take it more seriously than that now because I'm older and I don't like letting anybody down. And I think you can only take advantage of your voice for so long, and you really need to look after it a bit.
Yeah,
so as I say, I try and sleep, have early nights and the night before a gig. We've got a gig on Sunday. We'll have a gig. So on Saturday night, I will try and have an early night. And not speak all night because that can suffer. But as I said, I never go in smoky atmospheres or anything like that. and try not to do the all-night partying anymore, because it does catch up with you.
How hedonistic were your happiest days as a singer? You were out there in Manchester, I mean, and it was part of that sort of club scene, the hacienda days of those just pure joy and celebration, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. But, I mean, and I joined the Happy Mondays, which is a proper mad party band, and went on tour with them. Like we toured America for 6 weeks, so on a tour bus. So yes, it was mad, but I was very lucky because I wasn't addicted to anything like some of the others. Yeah. You know, I loved me drink of whiskey, and that was it really. So I'm just lucky that I've not got an addictive personality, or I think I would have been completely messed up. Yeah. To be honest, because the partying's great, but I am also one of them that I need to go to bed now. I need to switch off. I need to be on my own. I do like to be on my own. I'm quite quiet on the tour bus, and like my own space. No, I do, and everyone would think I'd be the loud one, but you know, within a band, I'm quite good to travel with because I'm very quiet on a bus and stuff. Although I'd be the only girl, I don't really act the most feminine all the time. I'm not like, I've got to do my makeup, do this, that, and the other. I really look at it that I have to put makeup on and get changed and be on my own because I have to, because I'm a girl and I have to look a certain way, but I don't do it out of vanity or, you know, like, you know, anything like that. I just think it's a bit of a chore to do all that because I'm a girl. But apart from that, no, I'm just one of the lads, and I like being treated as such, and, you know, carry my own bags and do everything that the boys do and get along with them. When I want a late night on the bus, I will do. I'll sit up with them, and when I want to go to bed early, I'll go on my bunk and go to bed.
You
and
certainly know your own
now
mind.
On the tour bus. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to survive in not within this band, I don't think.
No.
Because the business is hard enough anyway. But in the Mondays, and we have split up numerous times, but we've been together now since 2012, and we're happier than ever, playing better than ever, and it's going really well. I think we've worked out how to do it now, and all the addiction of certain members has finished, and everyone's in a happy place, family people, so it's great.
I love Shaun Ryder very much, and Bez too. I think they're two personalities and characters, but there were moments they overstepped the line. Were there times on that bus where even you had to say, all right, lads, enough's enough now, please go to bed?
All the time, like every night, of course. I mean, in America, it was just ridiculous. So we could get to a city, and the first thing the band had to do was probably score some of the members and stuff. We're not going to have a show because you're addicts. But it's completely different now. Shaun has his own driver. Bez travels on his own, has his own driver. So it's just the rest of us travel on the bus because we like to. We're on a people carrier or a tour bus. But we love doing that. I think John De Silva's going to be joining us on the tour bus the next time. And if you don't want to travel on the bus, you can get a driver, you know, and go yourself. I actually like the whole camaraderie of being in a band. And also because I do sound checks and Shaun and Bez don't, I need to arrive at the venue with the band. So, but they don't need to do sound checks.
No, not really.
To be honest, I don't really have to. Not on a tour. I don't have to do a sound check on a tour because we've got great sound guys. And we don't really need to. Yeah, because a lot of the venues we've played before. Yeah. So, you know, if we're doing academies, we've done them before. So you don't need to. But I enjoy doing the sound checks, and it's good for the sound guys, you know, to test the microphones and everything. And I like having a run through with the boys. I love all that though. And I love the travelling still with the band.
Do you think for Shaun and Mark it's sort of self-protection by not coming on the bus because there's too much temptation? It's too easy to have a drink and have fun, or worse? Yeah,
probably for Shaun. Not for Bez. Bez has given up everything anyway, but for Shaun because he goes home after every gig to his kids usually. Right. So and it works that way. Then he's just a different person. He doesn't do any partying at all. Bez quite often DJs after a gig, so that's all he does. He's being Bez with the DJ after a show, so that's usually why he doesn't travel with us. But also, it's just a different personalities. Me and Bez go around together anyway and travel together anyway. We've been to Dubai together, Thailand, Japan. We're like brother and sister, so I get along with Bez very, very well, and I find travelling with him great. But it just works better that we all travel separate, I think. And the core of the rest of the band, Paul Ryder, Gary Whelan, Dan, our programmer, and Mark Day, the guitarist, we all travel together. We've got an order where they pick us all up on the people carrier or the tour bus, and we just like being together. You know, we've known each other for 30 years. It's
a
great.
Family.
Yeah, it is really family.
Yeah, beautiful. How many songs have you appeared on? Have you added them all up? Because your vocals have been everywhere, Simply Red, obviously to the Happy Mondays, of course, and loads in between. I mean, how many samples of your voice have been on different records? Have you ever added it all up?
I've not added them up, but they're just appearing all the time. And there's a lot of genres that I would never have done. There's a guy called DJ Zinc who sampled me. Usually they sample from a track called Reach Out. It's just been sampled again most recently. They did it with Boom Boom Pow, which was number one in America for 12 weeks. Black Eyed Peas. Cheryl Cole sampled it on Fight for This Love. Show Me Love, Robin S. They sampled it on that. Steve Angelo and Laidback Luke. I don't count them, but it's great. I do have to keep a note of it because I do get royalties now. Thank goodness, because of the internet and everything. You can prove it's your voice, so I do need to keep a track. But as I say, it's a lovely surprise sometimes. That DJ Zinc, I remember getting a really nice check one Christmas because it was a jungle track that I would never have listened to, but it did really well on radio, so I ended up getting a nice little check out of the blue for it. But yeah, it's quite often. A lot of my time is taken up proving that samples are me. Because no, sometimes I hear with Black Eyed Peas. I actually heard it in the car. And my son said, that sounds like you. And I said, yeah, but it won't be, will it? Because it's Black Eyed Peas. And then I actually got an email from Will I Am and Interscope Records saying, can we use it? And it was already out.
Wow.
It was like, of course you can. And obviously we need to do a deal here, which they did, which is great.
I always think it's better to do a deal after they've released it than before. You have more sort of leeway, don't you?
Well, do you know what? The only reason they wanted to do a deal with me was because somebody tried to sue them and said they owned it. So it ended up being, and they wanted a cut of the record sales. So I said, I don't need a cut of the record sales, but I do get royalties for radio play, and they gave me a one-off payment. So I was quite happy with that. But yeah, it's just other people being greedy ended up being good for me, because otherwise I would have probably carried on going, is that me? Can't be me, it's Black Eyed Peas. Amazing. But yeah, now I've got Will I Am's contract with him, and yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, Todd Terry was one of the early people to sample me, but it's sampled so much and it's just an honour. But I've just re-sung it and it's just done really well. There's a track called B. I think it's number 3 or number 2 today in the Tech House charts, number 4 overall in the Beatport charts. So that's worldwide dance charts. It's amazing to still be doing well with this track is amazing. It's called B, Greco, New York City, featuring Rowetta. Beautiful. And I'm very, very proud of it. To be up there though, to be the top of the charts of these charts, the Beatport charts, is whichever genre you're in, you want it to do well in Beatport. To be doing that now and to be doing so well in those charts, it's just blowing me away. I mean, it's just fantastic to be checking the charts every day and you're up near the top in the top 5. It's amazing.
I think it's a testament to your natural talent and your pure gift. The Happy Mondays are on tour. They're doing a few festivals this summer, and then the big tour for the Happy Mondays 30th anniversary 24-hour party people greatest hits tour begins November 10th in Dundee via Bristol, Brighton, London, Cardiff into December, Liverpool, Leeds, Birmingham, Lincoln, Newcastle, Nottingham. I'll come and see you there at Rock City, Manchester, Llandudno, Dublin, Aberdeen, Inverness, Kilmarnock and Glasgow, concluding the tour on the 23rd of December, just in time for Christmas. We've spoken about your past. We've spoken about your negative past, your positive past. Let's talk about the future. Happiness, marriage again. Is this on the cards, or are you done with all that?
No, I'm done with it for the moment. I'm not looking for marriage because I did have a bad marriage and stuff. Of course I love being in love, but I'm far too busy at the moment. This year I've not stopped travelling, and I've started relationships. It's just, I've just not had time. I'm not taking them seriously.
It is tough, isn't it, to be in show business, be successful and be in love.
I meet loads of people. I love a nice snog. I don't slag myself off or anything. I do like a nice snog. I do love being free. I don't like people going, where are you when you're coming home? I don't really like that at the moment. I like going to Spain when I want to and going to see my friends. So I'm in a great position at the moment, and I can still snog people. So really good looking.
I'm in a good position as well, missionary mostly. Where do I put my name down on the list for a good old snog with Rowetta? I'd love that.
Well, Rock City, isn't it?
Rock City, Nottingham. I will see you there on the 9th of December.
The competition. Yeah, it's just, and it's like the tour. I mean, if you look at the dates, how many dates we're doing, how I would keep a relationship going with that, I just couldn't unless I was already with him a while. It'd be too difficult. So, they'd have to be really, really trusting as well. But I'm quite loyal. So that's not a problem. It's literally, I love my work more than I love a man at the moment. So
very wise. I shall see you on the 9th of December. The tour starts on the 10th of November for the Happy Mondays 30th anniversary Greatest Hits Tour. Rowetta, I think you're fabulous. I think you're an incredible talent.
I'll see you for a snog in Nottingham.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for your time. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.